That's it.
I gotta elevate. I've been praying to God for a better way. I concentrate on my goals and I meditate. Make sacrifices, put time and I dedicate. I gotta elevate. I'ma make sure the family forever straight. They wouldn't listen, now I gotta devastate. I'm on your ass and I won't let you get away. I gotta elevate. I've been praying to God for a better way. I concentrate on my goals and I meditate. Make sacrifices, put time and I dedicate. I gotta elevate.
I thought something is different about my man.
It's Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew? Blue Chew. Blue Chew. Blue Chew.
Blue Chew. Blue Chew. You've done it again.
What up, everyone? We back with another one. This is the Shorty Logic Podcast. I am your host, Shorty Logic, and here go my co-host and guests. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
What's good, everybody? Y'all know who this is. This is Miss Sugar.
How's everybody doing? This is Trey Maddox. This is my first appearance. I'll be chiming in on some sound learning and getting you guys up to speed on what's happening in education.
That's what's up. So man, look, the topic is about, man, it's open discussion about the most important things about education. You know, everybody needs education, man. It's a thing that needs. You know, it's all about. I just want to say, you know, from middle school, high school, you know, on down to even elementary. You know, people starting elementary school and stuff like that. So it's all about it, all about education. But I'm going to hit with the first video, y'all.
Through education, you can also better yourselves in other ways. You learn how to think critically and find solutions to unexpected challenges. I remember we used to ask our teachers, why am I going to need algebra? Well, you may not have to solve for X to get a good job or to be a good parent, but you will need to think through tough problems. You'll need to think on your feet. You'll need to know how to gather facts and evaluate information. So, math teachers, you can tell your students that the president says they need algebra. Education also teaches you the value of discipline. That the greatest rewards come not from instant gratification, but from sustained effort and from hard work. This is a lesson that's especially true today in a culture that prizes flash over substance, that tells us that the goal in life is to be entertained, that says you can be famous just for being famous. I mean, you get on a reality show, don't know what you've done, suddenly you're famous. But that's not going to lead to lasting, sustained achievement. And finally, with the right education, both at home and at school, you can learn how to be a better human being. For when you read a great story or you learn about an important moment in history, it helps you imagine what it would be like to walk in somebody else's shoes, to know their struggles. The success of our economy will depend on your skills, but the success of our community will depend on your ability to follow the golden rule, to treat others as you would like to be treated.
What y'all think about that video right there, man? What's y'all input about that? We're gonna start with you, Shug.
It's a lot to take in, so we can go on to the next person. That's a lot to take in.
Well, what you got, Trey?
Well, I think Barack hit on a lot of key points about, you know, education being necessary. I think what he meant to say, instead of that everybody should learn algebra, I think he should break that down and say, you know, that it's important knowing how to count money, it's important knowing how to manage money and stuff like that, as opposed to putting highlights on specific, you know, topics. Right. Because what we tend to do is we get caught up in titles, and then people get lost in titles. So, and I think that's where, you know, he talked about discipline. I think that's where the discipline comes in at. You have to have a foundation to even understand, the education that you're taking on. So I think
Right.
he was spot on, but had he broken down just a little bit more for the person in the back, for that fifth grader that doesn't necessarily, think analytically, but more visually and more hands-on, he could have captured those folks.
Okay. What you got, Shaniqua?
I told you I can't never hear the video.
Well, in the videos,
The
basically,
video was blanking in and out.
well, the video is basically like off of what Trey was talking about. Just about accounting, about money. You know what I'm saying? How to count, how to take accountability of, just taking initiative or want to learn. You know what I'm saying? You really have to. And as us as adults, we need to take it upon ourselves to try to teach the children, try to teach the kids. You know what I'm saying? Try to just bring them in, even though they don't want to. We still sometimes you have to force some things onto them. That's the only way you can get through life. That's just how I see it, how I take it. So
I think he also was trying to say that everybody needs structure, and not just the adults, but the kids. They need structure. They need some type of foundation. They need a path to where these things right here, what he was talking about, was saying this is going to lead you to having some type of oomph about yourself, some type of proof about yourself, as far as these different steps that you take, these processes that you take in school. Even if you go on to college, like, it'll give you the motivation you need to say, I need more, I desire more, I want more, I'm going to prosper more. These things will help you along the way. These are tools that'll help you along the way as you progress in life. He was pointing that these things are important. So not only are they important, but you should want and desire these things. I feel like everybody deserves a fair chance at education. Absolutely.
Right.
But it's a lot of things I feel like they took out of the education system that is just as important, even if it's not opening a book. Like the simple things, like people used to have home ec. They used to have sex education. They used to have, it was more, it was just a lot more things that they feel like is not necessary, that is necessary as well.
Right.
To progress the process of children learning. So.
Well,
and as we get older, and the system is changing every day, I feel like they should also come up with better, because you have great teachers out there that are now using different types of methods to teach their kids, because kids do, like Troy said, kids do learn in different ways. Some people are visual learners. Some people
I am.
I'm a little bit of both. Like, I love to read, but I also like a visual with it as well. So I'm a little bit of both, because it's hard to grasp kids' attention in school.
Right.
And you can teach them what they can accomplish. And if you give them that motivation, kids get excited. Once they realize they can accomplish something, they get that enthusiasm they need. They get excited and they want more and they want more. That's how I was.
Right.
I didn't graduate high school. I had to go back and graduate high school because I was sitting here preaching to my son how important education was, but here I wasn't not even a high school graduate. So I took it upon myself at 38, almost 39, to go back to school. And it's crazy to say, but I was more focused, more ready for it at that age. And I learned it, and I turned out to be the first one to graduate out of my class. And I was in a class full of different people. Like, I had 17-year-olds in there. I had, 21-year-olds in there, but I was the oldest. I was the elder in my class. And then I went back and helped them to graduate.
That's good. That's all good. And then some of the things some of the things they need to put back in school, like you said, they took a lot of stuff out of school. They say is out of the budget, but I think this is full of shit. But, like they said, home ec, auto shop, wood shop, you know what I'm saying? All those things right there to, especially
crafts and stuff.
Craft, right? Because those type of things go further just than that. It teach you, what I'm saying, to, like I said, discipline.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
How many people are out here? How many men out here that does welding? That does they do other things like what is it called? Where they have to. Basically, they're gonna use that mathematics to build and construct
Right.
things, you know.
That is true. That
Things
is
like
so
that.
true.
And they didn't even realize it until they got in it after they may have not finished school or finished school. And then they're like, whoa, I didn't think I was actually going to need that, but end up needing that. So it's not just you could be anything you want if you set your mind to it and set the goal that you want to have. If you want to be president, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, we just can't teach the kids, okay, get in sports and you can be the best football player ever. It's so many opportunities for them. And I think for our kids, sometimes we lack in explaining that, in giving them that drive to say, you don't have to just settle for sports. You don't have to just settle for this or that. You could do anything if you put in the work.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. And what would you say, Trey?
I was just saying that's 100%. She's spot on with it.
Cause that's very true. Cause you know, and sometimes us as adults and older people, sometimes how the kids learn today. If I've seen it, that sometimes you have to meet them where they're at. So you know, you have to meet them where they're at. You know, but like you said, you have to show them in a way that is appealing to them.
Right. I didn't have that in school. I did not have that teacher that took me. I couldn't even go to the teacher and say, the way you're teaching it, even though they learning it, I still don't understand it. And then you know, we have to get our kids to realize not to be embarrassed to ask for the help. Because a lot of them are embarrassed to ask for the help because they're afraid of what all their peers are going to say and think about them. Because kids are harsh. They can be harsh as well.
They can.
What made it so better for me when I got older, and I'm not saying this is what they should do, because it's not what they should do. They should get it while they're young. But what I realized when I got older and went back to school was I had the gumption to ask my teacher because I didn't understand the curriculum the way he was teaching it to me. Still the same, like as if in high school. But I actually asked him, is there a different way you can show me where I can understand? Because I'm a step-by-step person. I need to know about this is this, this is this, this to this, this is this to this. And so he did show me different ways. And when he showed me different ways, I soared. I even called him to help me with my son. When my son was, you know, like we need people like that. To notice that these kids may have an issue, they're more quiet, reserved, maybe they don't understand it, maybe you can pull them to the side and not in front of the class. It's a lot of realms to the education system. Right.
Shanika, do you have anything to say if we go to the next video?
Yes, I do. Okay, so going into the whole education thing and me remembering what it was like when I was in school, like I really feel like the things that we needed as adults, like money management, like how to buy a car or a house, or, you know, just things that we needed as adults, we should have been taught that. Like it shouldn't have been something that we had to learn on the outside. That should have been included in our curriculum. Like even when it comes to like credit building and stuff like that, like all of those, like even if it was a class like that, it was like not broadcasted. It wasn't necessary.
Okay. Yeah. Especially where we come from, you know, the school system is crap.
But some of our parents.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So because they weren't taught that, it was hard for them to actually tell us this is what we need, because they weren't taught that as well. They didn't understand the graphics of it as well as I think more now. So we do in our generation and now than before.
Right, that's true. So we'll go ahead to the next video. This is pretty deep video.
History is American history. Black history is world history.
I believe in a year-round approach.
As educators, we teach them about slavery, and then we teach them about civil rights. And I'm trying to do something different this year where we teach them about Black excellence.
Embracing my culture helps me also embrace theirs.
I'm always focused on what are the words of our elders that I can plant into the work that I do, that I can then share with my students, that they can then go and plant and become better people in this world.
It's all about the students. It's about the children and what you can do for them and be able to empower them so that tomorrow they can be able to make a difference in other people's lives.
How can you stay true to that curriculum based on the skills that they need to learn, but also stay true to the world that they live in?
Black history is not just about slavery and it's not just about the pain. It's also about the fact that we were able to come out of it.
It helps them not only see themselves in the classroom, but as a leader in the future as well.
Just knowing that somebody look like them is able to get to that level and celebrate them, let them know they can do it.
It's my mission work, my purpose work, my way of giving back to my community. I want students to see themselves as anything they could imagine. I want them to believe.
A new student joined our classroom. He was kind of shy coming in, and he used to always sit next to me. Like, why do you keep sitting next to me? And one day, he was just like, I want to be a teacher one day. I had to go tell everyone because I can see my influence on him, and seeing him be able to reflect and realize and notice that he can be something different from what he sees daily in his life. It changed my entire life.
So I picked that video. I came across that video because I know, of course, as African Americans, what I'm saying, we kind of get the rough after sticking it in, because I feel like I might get ridiculed for this. I feel like the Black history that we are taught in school is whitewashed.
What Black history?
Exactly. The little bit that they did give us, you know what I'm saying? The little bit they did give us.
The stereotypical.
Go ahead, Troy. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's very stigmatized and stereotypical. I mean, even when I was a teacher, there were so many teachers that automatically counted out students before they even got to know them.
Yeah.
You know, you had the students that looked rough, but they were straight A's, and you had students that looked like they were somewhat clean and were the class clowns. So it was just you can't see everybody the same color. You just can't. You're gonna fail every time.
Right.
Prejudgment.
Prejudgment.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. What I learned when I moved here to Tennessee is that it blew me how you need to have your signature. To know your signature, how to write your signature on a lot of documents, even if it's on a tablet, you need to know how to write your signature. But yet they don't teach cursive in class no more. They don't teach cursive in school no more.
Wow.
And that blows me, because you want these kids, even sometimes as a teenager, they go to the doctor's office, they may want their signature rather than your signature, but you're not even teaching them how to even write in cursive. They taught us that.
But some teachers teach it optional. Both of my daughters did get taught cursive.
They do not teach them that,
but it's not mandatory.
It should be
mandatory. None of them teach them that here in Tennessee. Like it's crazy. It is crazy.
So Trey, in your experience of teaching, what do you see mostly that happens? You know, when it comes to education,
I bet it's needed.
I think I have a great perspective because the school in which I taught at, it was predominantly white, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of the African Americans were left in shadows, and with me being the only African American teacher on the campus, you know, a lot of them was forced into my classrooms where, you know, I had limited capacity. If I had 36 seats, why was I getting 42 students every class? You see what I mean?
Right.
So you know, it's setting it up for some teachers to fail, but knowing that, you know, I had to take a little bit more risk just to make sure those students were being addressed. But I mean, they're being failed every day, and you know, it's just like it's sad that I walked away from teaching, but I also know that, you know, it's on a larger scale. If we get caught up as educators thinking that we have to be in these schools to teach our children, then we allow them to fail essentially. I mean, we could teach them through, you know, podcasts, through, you know, radio, all these different platforms. Because I never saw or thought school as a place to upbring children. I always saw it as a place to keep them for a few hours, but the learning happens outside.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like to me.
It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse, because it also, that's what I wanted to say, it also starts at home. It starts a lot at home, and a lot of these new parents, these young parents, get it twisted because they think that when they go to school, they got a babysitter. It's not about babysitting your kids. Yeah. Their job as teachers is to educate your kids. They will be the ones that are there for your kids when you're not available for your kids, but at the same time, they're not a babysitter. So it's the difference between a teacher and a babysitter. And a lot of these young parents need to understand that, because if you taking your kids to school and you know that your kids got bad behaviors, but you're the first one upset at the moment that the teacher try to do their job and then some, it's a problem. It's a problem because
And
the teacher and the parent need to work together.
I agree.
right, and I say this here is the whole COVID thing. It's messed up how people died and everything. But I feel like we needed that shutdown. You know what I'm saying? Because we need that shutdown. Because guess what? Once everything opened back up, guess what? Basically, your parents had to teach the kids. You know what I'm saying? Parents had to teach kids, or once they start doing stuff on laptops and computer stuff. But at home, the parents still have to show that. And guess what? They learn and find out the stuff that they're doing. They don't know.
They also learning and finding out stuff that they don't know or remember either.
Right.
It's a topsy-turvy. You had some kids that probably got just as good education on a visual spectrum as far as doing it online, but you also got a lot of parents that did not know how to assist their kids.
Yes.
Because one, they had been out of school for a long time. Two, they didn't have to deal with their kids on a day-to-day basis because they had that 8 hours for their kids to go to school. Like they did not. It was an eye opener.
Yeah, it was. It really is. And then like even
I suck at it now.
well, I ain't there
Vaughn,
yet.
Sorry, Logic. I think it also, like, not only did COVID expose the education system, I mean, it definitely exposed the level of education within our community. You got to think about it. I think I saw a statistic. It said even within Louisville, it said less than 5% in Louisville have college degrees. So, I mean, it's probably spiked a little bit since then, but I mean, you got to think about it. Most people that these kids are coming into contact with are either at the same level or lower, or depending on the teacher.
When I left Kentucky, my son was going to school in Kentucky. Let me tell you something. When he left Kentucky was the top 10 of the worst school systems in the U.S. And when I left there, he was 9 years old. When he came here, he was so behind because what they do here is different than what they do in Tennessee. He had to catch up, and he could not catch up until he got to middle school because he was the curriculum was so far advanced here compared to Kentucky.
Wow.
And that was hard on a child who think that he was doing everything the way that he was taught, and then realize he was so far behind. That's hard on a child's mindset because they think they're slow or they're stupid or something like that, and they're not.
Yeah. I ended up looking something up about the college thing because Trey had said something about only 5%, like just in Louisville itself, and this just a United States itself. You know what I'm saying? Basically what it is, basically over half of people that go to for a 4-year college, graduate college, you know what I'm saying, 50% of that are unemployed. 50% of that unemployed. And then 45% of people who actually go to college and graduate don't even work in their field. They don't even work in their field. So if you're saying if this 52% of people who graduate for 4 years, go to school for 4 years and graduate, 52% unemployed. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
But I mean, I think that statistic leaves out that a lot of people have had to start their own businesses, and then which keeps people from wanting to report because it messes up statistics, and then people don't want to be charged more taxes because they're being classified in a certain racial group. So it's just, I mean, the things that we have to do as people just to survive is insane to me.
It is. It's so I'm not gonna lie, because like the knowledge that I learned from my granddaddy, my uncles, me being in the service. You know what I'm saying? The high school really gave me that much. I learned what I learned is from experience. Me working on houses, me building houses, I've learned that from experience. Me working on cars, on lawnmowers, and doing electrical work, I learned that from my granddad and uncle. Then when I went into the service, that enhanced that. You know what I'm saying? Me being a plumber, I do all those things. I feel like the school system have really taken out the whole trades, all the trade things. I feel like I don't care if it's a woman or a female or male. I feel like all female and males should learn trades because if all jobs go away, The only thing will still be here will be all trades. But they're not teaching that no more.
Well, I think it's so advanced. This, the technology and stuff has advanced so much. It's not just it's far beyond just trades. But what I will say is I feel like the hardship with being in college is when you get out of college is that, say you have a doctor who's going out to be a neurologist and they apply at a certain hospital that only is looking for 2 neurologists, but you have, and I've literally seen this because in Louisville's known for a big, they're known for big events conventions that come to town.
Right.
So one of the things that I noticed, because I worked at hotels and I always had to deal with the people that came for conventions. One time it wasn't even a convention, it was 600 to 800 doctors coming in town, pre-doctors that was coming in town to apply for jobs at the University of Louisville Hospital. They only had 1 or 2 positions open in different areas at the hospital. Now, here's the thing, you got 600 to 800 of these students, graduates that came to apply for these jobs, but there's only 1 or 2 spots open for these jobs. They have to go to 3 essays, they have to do all this stuff, and all these people are in town. And imagine that, if you have maybe 5 positions open at a hospital, between 600 and 800 people come for that 5 positions?
Yeah.
It's insane.
And
all these kids that went to college to get these degrees, and that's why we have more practitioners than we do doctors now.
Right. And then also issue is, you go get this $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 education, then you get out happy, got your certificate, got your certification, then you try to go and work in that field, and what would they tell you? You don't have enough experience.
I think college tuition should definitely be lower and higher.
Oh my God!
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not saying this to discourage anybody from going to college, but I will say this: college tuition is a joke. It is a government situation where the government gets their money off of it regardless. And so government's going to use anything they can to make some money in order for them to be able to spend that money, because it doesn't go to us. Like, we work all year long and file taxes and we do all this stuff, and we talked about this before, and then at the end you want to give us maybe $10,000 when we done made $30,000-$40,000 in a year, and you want to give us $10,000 back. Where you have other places that, even like in Japan, where they don't have to pay, they don't have to pay for medical assistance and all this stuff there. And look how grand that is there. Our Canada, where they give women, when they have babies, they give them a whole year off, and they pay them and things like that, But it's not a system where they just handing them something and not getting something in return. But yet, America's so great. Well, if America's so great, why is America modern day enslaving us? And I'm talking about everybody, not just
that's true.
Everybody.
I was asked a few years ago. There's 2 flags of America. They asked me what do I think of the Confederate flag. I said old day slavery, and the new flag. And I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. I did 10 years. The American flag of today, modern slavery. Because let's be honest, we really go to work to pay them.
Yeah.
We go to work to pay them.
We work to pay them. They don't pay us.
We work to pay them.
Yeah, we go to work to pay them. They tax that money. Then when we get that money, anytime we spend the money, that get taxed.
So why isn't that taught to us as teenagers to, be, mindful that we're going to be taxed on everything, and that you need this education so you can get a good job, so you can afford to pay this or that.
And then I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna ask Trey. I say, programming, right? But they also, education always good. You need your education. Don't run from it.
Right. Don't run from it. Get it and get more if you can.
Right. But my thing is here is I feel like this is me. I can't speak for anyone else's mind. I feel like they don't teach us to be business owners. They teach us to be worker bees. This is how I look at it.
They'll teach you to be business
What's your take
owner.
on that, Trey?
I think you're 100% accurate on that. When I was teaching, I was everybody's favorite teacher for a reason. Reason being, I knew I wasn't trying to build worker bees.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that I knew, specialized knowledge, I was giving them outside of the curriculum just because I knew, that they could help me get to another level.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, like anybody that's working in a 9 to 5, they're caught up in the matrix.
Yeah.
And if the goal is not to get out of the 9 to 5, then you can stay in there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But the goal is for us, to open that door so the people we care about know, 9 to 5 ain't it.
Yeah, it ain't. And I
only came back to a 9 to 5 because I took a 6-figure loss in the stock market when COVID hit.
Okay.
I had no plans of coming back to 9 to 5, zero. Right. But when you come back to an old system with new knowledge, then you can work it different. And I think a lot of people tend to forget you can't just stay out of the game. You gotta go in the game, and then utilize what you know, and then make your way back out. The goal is to get out, not to stay comfortable.
Don't be stagnant. Don't be stagnant.
It's so hard to get out, especially after you done had kids.
It's hard, but it's possible.
Like to start your own business and stuff. To try to get everything going, to be able to not have to work for nobody else and work for yourself and not have to work, a 9 to 5. It's hard to get there and be steady at it.
It's hard for single parents to do that, but at the same time, it's not, because let's be real here. As adults, you know what your options and choices can be, but we often choose the wrong choices because it's the quicker choice. It's the quicker option. I mean, we have to really be, if we're going to talk about, we got to really, truly be honest with ourselves. A lot of people are in the spaces and places they are, not only because of some of the hands that they've been doing, that's understandable, but also a lot of our choice and decision making is on us, and we make the wrong choices. Even if we know we make the wrong choices, we still go that direction. Why? I mean, let's just be honest here, because there's a lot of people that can get it done. I've seen where people go back and they don't necessarily have to go to the big schools. They can go to community college.
Right.
Now they got it where you can do college online. The only thing that really hinders you at the end of the day is you.
And trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes, that's it. And it's a big world of that right now. I know you great go, Troy. I know you great go, but I think we can, because you're a Maddox and I'm a Maddox too.
What? Okay. All right.
But I feel like as a 2020 have raised and developed so many business owners, entrepreneurs now.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I see it. You know what I'm saying?
When COVID hit, a lot of people learned about the things that they could offer themselves that they didn't even realize, because they were so caught up in the whirlwind of the world. So when they had to sit still and they had to come up with a hustle, they realized that they had more tools and they had more, charisma about themselves than they ever thought they had in their life. That's
true. That is so true. You know what I'm saying? It taught you what you can live, without, and what can you do. And it made you nothing. You ain't had no time but to think.
Right. Think a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
And also get the people who you're around show you didn't need to be with that person. Or be around that person.
That too.
We take a chance on everything else, but the one thing we don't take a chance on, that a lot of people do not take a chance on, is their self. They will take a chance on their homeboys. They will be here supporting everybody else and everything else, but they will not take a chance on themselves. Come on.
Wow.
That is true. A lot of people don't take a chance on themselves. That is very true. But I got another video out.
Hey, Shorty Lodge, I'm gonna head out. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
I am not in the arena because I am no longer willing to work in a system that cannot A, guarantee my safety, B, would not create a pathway to financial freedom, and C, a system that follows a philosophy that we honor what you do by giving you more work, but not necessarily increasing your pay. So given a number of experiences that I have, I know that I am best outside of the system, and it is no longer my life's calling to be working in the system.
What you think about that?
Hey.
Hey, yeah. What's been going on?
Nah, I have a comment on that.
All right.
A lot of people think that way. A lot of people think I'm sweating, girl. I've been cooking. I'm outside. I just took dogs in. A lot of people think that way, but it's really hard for them to get out of that situation, as in like working and then say supervisors or whatever put more work on them, and it's not even the equal pay. Let me give you an example. So I know people now that are lieutenants and the sergeants to where they should be bumped up to their rank, but they're doing the captain's job, or they're doing the lieutenant's job, and they're a sergeant or they're a lieutenant that should be a captain. You get what I'm saying?
I've been there.
So it's really hard for people that's already been in, I'm gonna say the system, people that's been in the work system for a very long time and they want to get out to be their own person. It's really hard to do that. Not saying you can't put your mind to it, but at the end of the day, it's always gonna have to cost money to fulfill your plans of being your own self. If you know what I'm talking about, if you get what I'm saying.
Right. We got a comment, y'all. Ooh, Charmaine. What's up?
She said it's all about the life you live. You live and enjoy life. Excuse me. Working to live and not living to work. Exactly.
Yeah.
So true, Charmaine. Man, hey, Charmaine, bring your ass in here.
They bank on the fact that they want you to think that it is impossible. They bank on that because once you start once you start mentally thinking that, it could be a deterioration when it doesn't have to be. One, you got to be confident in yourself. Two, yes, it's going to be hard. It may be even a struggle, but it ain't like it's not possible.
Correct.
A lot of people get complacent. You don't have to get complacent. You're choosing to be complacent. You choosing to buy those $200 pair of Jordans rather than to go ahead and put that $200 to the side for the business that you want to start. Because you're so busy, like Troy said, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. But anything is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible. But it's all about. But you got saying, bring it back down to the basics. A lot of people don't know what the value of the penny or the dollar, because they see it, they think they need to spend it. They don't know how to save it. They don't know how to do anything with this. The first thing they see, it's all, and it brings back down to the basics, budgeting. Hell, they really don't need to teach that in school.
I used to tell my son all the time, and he would just throw his change everywhere. I said, let me tell you something, change too. And he said, Mama, I hate carrying change. I said, baby, let me tell you something.
It still counts.
I done taught you this when you was little. I'm gonna teach you again. You know what 4 quarters equal? $1. Do you know what $5 equal? 5 single ones equal $5. Look, it adds up, and it adds up actually quicker than what you think.
Trying to tell you. Hey, well, I'm about to shoot this other video right here, and it don't have no words to it, but it's taking it way back. Lamar, what's up, Lamar? What's happening?
Man, how y'all doing?
All right, what's going on, big dog? All right, hold on, y'all. That was a little quick one. I found that it was, especially was talking about as African Americans and stuff like that. We even in slavery, we was, educating ourselves. Reading, in secrecy. You know, it's all. It's and like I said, education is everything, man. It's everything. But so I feel like some people just afraid. Because I'm gonna tell you, like middle school, high school, my hardest thing was reading. My hardest thing was reading. Hell, luckily I had this one teacher that she helped me a lot. I wouldn't read the way I could read now if it wasn't for her. I had a hard time to read, and I was afraid to read. You know, now I can read all the time. It don't bother me, but you know, it's you find that one person. You know, you gotta find that one person that sees the light in you. You know,
you're right. I know. I definitely. Let me tell you something. And I stayed at jobs for years. I'm talking about. That's how I learned to become an account auditor. Mm-hmm. But it's funny to me because a lot of people, I'm gonna say at least 96% of the people that I encountered in my life between the ages of 13 when I started out babysitting before I actually got an actual job at 14 years old and was co-oping from school. Now, it was crazy because 90% of the people that I met in my life did not know that I didn't even have a high school education. Mm-hmm. Because I picked up so many things and learned so many things along the way that I was skating up the scale and they didn't even know. They didn't even question it because that's how good I learned at doing what I did because I always wanted to do my best at no matter what I done. I didn't care if it was even McDonald's.
Right.
And so when I went back to school and I posted it, people was like, you didn't finish high school? No, I did not. Just skated through.
That's cool to I feel like most of the things you learn is from experience. Well, what you got? What you thinking on, Lamar? What you got?
As far as education?
Yes.
Our education system don't teach you about nothing in the real world. They don't teach you the basics of having a bank account. They don't teach you about credit. And we as African Americans, generational wealth, we're not taught about it. Even myself now, at being 49, I'm learning from the School of Hard Knocks. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The School of Hard Knocks can be very expensive. I'm dealing with that right now, day to day. Our education system. I was stationed in Germany, and in 8th grade, they only go to school till like 16. But in 8th grade, you decide. I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it's a test, but you decide if you're gonna go to a vocational school or if you're gonna become like an engineer or a doctor. And they actually, when you're 16 years old, like say you're gonna be an engineer, they actually do a co-op. You got education, but you're doing on-the-job training in Germany. You know, like at Mercedes-Benz, if you're gonna be some kind of certain kind of engineer. Like in our world, even when you go to college, I got a year and a half of college. What I was learning in 9th grade on history, I was learning my freshman year in college. And here's my reality. I had a sister girl, and I told you about this before. She was a director, a district manager, something like that at 7 counties. And she kept talking about she had a master's degree. And I thought that was amazing, truly amazing. But then she kept comparing me to her ex-husband, who was a police officer. So we'd have some things in common because the police structure is military and I'm military. But, you know, after a while, I got tired of hearing it. I'm not knocking that brother. I think that he's probably a great brother, personally, because he's, you know, like a military person. However, when she kept pushing his education, a lot of people go to these colleges. And I was at one school, I think Northwestern. I think they paid $60,000, $68,000 a year for school. And then my whole point of it is, say you're going to be a social worker, and I'm not knocking nobody's job, but you're making $50,000, $40,000 a year, and you just spend $240,000 on the education. And explain to me how that makes sense. So I got a friend right now, very good, dear friend of mine. His wife's student debt was like about 100-something thousand. He owes like 80-something thousand on it right now. He paying $948 a month. That's the average mortgage for the average $100-something thousand, maybe $200,000 home. And the interest don't go nowhere, and the debt don't go nowhere. But here's the thing about it, and I'm not knocking her at all, and love her dearly, love the kids dearly. But she's a stay-at-home mom. He's making $35 an hour, which is good money, great money, really. But I'm like, bro, why? Why not put them? You got a son that's 4 years old, or maybe 5, and you got a daughter that's 3. Why not put them in school, you know, full time, and let her work, even if it just pays for the daycare, but it gives her something to do as an adult to get out of the house. Mm-hmm. My whole point of it is, why do you spend all that money for education and it's not prosperous? But then when they look at a blue collar worker that that's a plumber, HVAC, or whatever. I got a personal friend that was on the fire department together. When he started off at Tom Drexler, he was making $10 an hour. 10 years later, he's making $100,000. His wife is a nurse. She don't have to work. She don't have to work. Key word. They live in Mount Washington. She don't have to work. Now, Tony's a very good friend of mine. Very good, dear friend of mine. But he started from the ground. But people look at a blue collar worker like myself. You know, because I just got out of the shower. Like, oh man, I'm above you. And I just look at him and smile. Our education system, what we learning in America, is not preparing our children for shit in the real world.
Because the education system wasn't designed for you to be a world of thinkers. It's designed for you to be a world of workers.
What I'm about to say, I'm about to offend a lot of people.
Go for it.
The education in America is the slowest education there is.
Oh, we done. You know, we teach our kids to play. We teach our kids to play video games. And if you look at these reels that come on about China, Russia, they teach their kids how to fucking fight.
Yeah,
my feet.
But how to create things, design,
Right.
everything. They teach their kids a lot of things.
I mean, like my female associate,
Very
yesterday,
young.
she got a little upset because I was drilling into my daughter. You remember we had that shooting at the movies, you know, a couple of years ago. So my daughter was going to the movies, you know, here in town, and I'm going over. This is what I need you to do. This is how I need you to respond. This is what, and then I'm going through it, and I want her to repeat it to me. I.e., a lot of people get shot. They get up there yelling, it's all chaotic. And that's why you're getting shot. I need you to hit the ground, and your closest exit might not be where you at because the shooter might be there. I want you to locate your exits. My daughter's 15. I want you to locate your exit. I want you to get out. I want you to call me because when I come, I'm not going to stop till you die. That's just me. So she kind of got on me a little bit, which that's cool. And we all think differently, but I'm militarily, my thinking process. So I want to prevent it. PMCS, I want to preventive maintenance checks and services. So if I can eliminate these problems before we have it, then you ain't got to learn. And no, I'm not going to always be there for my child. But however, if I can teach you, let Jody them hop up and scream. Let your friends hop up and scream. You self-preservation. And I get a kid learning and stuff like that. And I understood her point too. Don't get me wrong, because it has a very valid point also. But in my world, where I come from, what I know, this is what works for me. And I'm not saying that my way is always right. But our education don't teach our kids shit. It don't.
It is. And it's so crazy. Some of the third world countries' education is better than America's.
Oh shit, everybody's education is better than America's.
Yeah.
I mean, we teach.
I'm going to offend some people, but it's all right.
We teach that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Let me ask you this: how can you discover something when it was already here? But I'm gonna go somewhere else. So if you got 3 people, that you got one in the command module that's outside a lunar orbit, but then you only got 2 people in a lunar capsule. Who the hell placed the camera up there to record you stepping off the damn thing? Come on, now.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't rocket science.
They say Christopher Columbus. No, they done took that away. But then they said no, the Native Americans. No, but the crazy part, what a lot of people don't see, that's what they don't know about our actual Black history, because Black people was here 10,000 years before the Native Americans.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem with when we look at the origin of human beings. The origin of life of human beings started in Africa. It started in Africa. So when they say the Europeans was in the Dark Ages, they did not bathe. The Moors taught the Greeks, whatever they was, the Romans how to bathe, and then they took it, and taught them. But they keep talking about these Aristotles and Hippocrates and all this stuff. They learned from Egypt.
Yeah.
And then, I'm gonna even go somewhere else. Jesus is not blonde hair, blue eyes. Jesus, he may not be black, but if you look at where he was born at, what the text in the Bible says, he closer to me than he ever is to them.
There's a lot of things that are in that we use on a day-to-day basis in this world that a lot of our children don't even know that it was a Black person who created it. And then
AC, refrigeration,
the stove,
stop signs. Yeah.
Everything.
And what they do is since it was slavery, a lot of them, came up with it. They came up with it, but the white person patent it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They
Oh
patent
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm happy in the last 10 to 15 years, our history has really been coming out.
Well, the internet, the way we got this social media platform, and I want to truly apologize. My time schedule's been a little wacky, and I thought we started at 8:45 today. I got your text, but I was in the middle of spreading this bug stuff, to kill bugs in my yard because I'm having slugs and stuff like that. So I hopped in the shower. Here I am. I got some food getting cooked for me. Oh man, I can't wait. It smells so good. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie to you, but that's another subject.
But it's all good though, man. We like I said, man, it's education, man. Education is the biggest thing. You got to have education. Don't run from it. Go run to it. You got
something?
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you gotta have the right education and the right subject that's gonna get you paid.
True that.
Because we don't, what are we paying all that money for? Even now, being almost 50, I'm thinking about going back. As a matter of fact, I ain't thinking I am gonna go back to school. It's just the idea of making the time to do it. It ain't even no making the time. It's the idea of quit being lazy and actually do it.
Doing it.
The problem that I have personally, on a personal perspective, and I know it's a lot of easier ways to make money, but it's not even about necessarily making a whole lot of money. Well, yeah, it is, because money comes easy, in my opinion. However, because my circle's small. But however, it's the idea of going through, like starting at, let's just say, $25,000 a year, that's hypothetically, and you've already made, 3 times, 4 times that. That's hard for me to do. And I think it's more of a pride issue than anything, but you get used to living a certain kind of way.
Right.
And when you get used to living a certain kind of way, I want to keep living that kind of way personally. Honestly, I do.
I feel that, But yeah, I think we had a good starting point right there, y'all. Cause we talked about everything that needs to be talked about. But I would say to everyone out there, everyone on this podcast, go for what you want. Get your education and go get it. Don't be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid to go for it.
And keep
But get the
yourself.
like Lamont said, go for the right education. Just don't go and get whatever.
And keep educating yourself more and more and more, because the more you educate yourself, as well as it's nothing wrong with going to school. Yeah, you definitely need to go to school because you need to know how to work around people. But not only that, keep educating yourself about your own history as well, because that's going to help you further even more. You'll know what to avoid, what not to avoid, things like that. All of that is important.
But I'm gonna say something else.
Who you deal with, who you don't deal with.
I'm gonna say something else. Along with educating, like I've wanted to be a police officer. I'm 49 years old, and I didn't even put in my application to resubmit it. But along with that, I heard so many people that's of our age as we get older. Well, I'm going to do this, but here's the reality. You have to live now. It takes money to live now. Money is only a tool to pay bills, to survive, and to live. So go for your dreams and your goals. However, if you get 9 no's and 1 yes, you're still winning. But you gotta don't forget to live today and plan for tomorrow.
That is true.
Make better choices.
Make better choices. Well,
I did.
We better.
No, I'm talking about you.
But y'all, what I'm saying, we hit one every week, y'all. And we begin some good topics and talking about some good stuff, y'all. And that's some good stuff. We got to put this information out there. Y'all like, share, comment, and follow the pages. Let make this thing go viral, y'all. Let's get this shit. We out of here.
TikTok, everything.
All of
YouTube.
it. We on all platforms. We out of here, y'all. Jurgen.